The exemption of import tax up to $50 is possible for some countries. This can allow individuals and companies to save on taxes when importing goods or services. For businesses, it can be an excellent solution if the import cost exceeds a certain amount of money. If this is the case, then an exemption of import taxes can save the company significant amounts. For individuals, it may be beneficial when sending gifts abroad. Without the import tax, this can be a great way to send something to a friend or family member without having to worry about finances. In some countries, taxes are charged differently for imports and exports. Individuals or companies may qualify for lower taxes based on the goods or services they export. The exemption of import tax up to $50 can help to lower the costs of purchasing goods or services from abroad. This might be the case when a company wants to purchase items for a production line or a business needs to source a rare product or service from another country. Different countries have different rules and regulations when it comes to import taxes. Therefore, it is important to know the regulations of the country that the goods or services are being imported from. The exemption of import tax up to $50 can be a great way to save money when importing goods. This amount may not be enough to cover the cost of some imports, but it can still help to reduce the overall cost. The exemption of import tax up to $50 is available for some countries, but it may not be an option for others. Therefore, it is important to explore the options available before deciding on whether or not this option is right for you or your business. The exemption of import tax up to $50 can be a great benefit to businesses and individuals who wish to import goods or services. Depending on the country and regulations, this may be a viable option. Before opting for an exemption of import tax up to $50, companies or individuals should understand all of the terms and conditions associated with the process. It is important to research the exact requirements of the country before taking advantage of the exemption. The exemption of import tax up to $50 can be beneficial in many different situations. If you are importing goods or services from a foreign country, it is worth taking the time to research the possible option of an exemption. If you are able to take advantage of the exemption of import tax up to $50, it can be a great way to save on costs. This can help to boost profits or lower overhead expenses when importing goods or services. Businesses must keep in mind that an exemption of import tax up to $50 may not be applicable for all countries. It is important to do the research in advance to ensure that the exemption can be taken advantage of. Companies should also be aware that the exemption of import tax up to $50 may require additional paperwork. This could mean additional time and cost spent processing the paperwork associated with the exemption. Individuals should also be aware of the paperwork necessary for an exemption of import tax up to $50. This includes any documentation and other requirements that must be met in order to take advantage of the exemption. Depending on the country, there may be other taxes or duties that are applicable to the import of goods or services. Understanding all of the required taxes is important in order to ensure the exemption of import tax up to $50 is taken advantage of. It is important to note that the exemption of import tax up to $50 can only be applied to goods or services that are imported. If you are exporting goods, the exemption does not apply and taxes would still need to be paid. The exemption of import tax up to $50 may also be applicable to some services. If services are being imported, the exemption could apply depending on the country. Companies should be aware of the different taxes, duties, and fees applicable to imports in their country. This can help to make sure that the exemption of import tax up to $50 is taken advantage of in the most advantageous way. The exemption of import tax up to $50 can be a great way to save money. However, it is important to make sure all the requirements of the country are met in order to qualify for the exemption. In some countries, the exemption of import tax up to $50 may only be applicable to specific goods or services. Therefore, it is important to research the regulations of the foreign countries that the goods or services are being imported from. It is important to find out the exact details of the exemption before taking advantage of it. This can help to ensure that the exemption is used in the most beneficial way. Companies should also be aware that the exemption of import tax up to $50 may not cover the cost of the import in full. It is important to research the costs associated with the import to make sure that the exemption will be beneficial. Companies and individuals should keep in mind that the exemption of import tax up to $50 may not be valid in all countries. Therefore, it is important to research the regulations and requirements of the foreign country the goods or services are being imported from. If the exemption of import tax up to $50 is applicable, then it can be a great way to save money. However, companies must make sure all the requirements are met before taking advantage of the exemption.